Hi, this is Gayle with BERNINA of Naperville, and I just want a minute of your time to talk about the magnet hoops. Now, we have gotten several questions in at the store and a couple comments on some of our magnet hoop videos asking about the generic hoops. And the generic hoops that I'm speaking about are the dime hoops. Now, dime recently, as you all have known, was acquired by an affiliate of BERNINA, right? But that doesn't instantly change how their hoops are manufactured. So think of dime as J.C. Whitney. I used to have a Jeep CJ7, and if I needed like a new hard top or a new soft top or mirrors or whatever, instead of going to Jeep, I would go to J.C. Whitney and I would get like aftermarket parts. And sometimes those parts were great, and other times they just weren't as good as the real deal, right? Well, Dime was making magnetic hoops for all sorts of brands of sewing machines, including BERNINA. But the issue is Dime has nothing to do with how the BERNINA hoops are programmed. And so for that reason, what they were doing is they were making their standard rectangular shaped hoops, kind of like the one that you see here, like this. So they were making these so that they would still work on a BERNINA without having to ask BERNINA to reprogram anything, right? And how were they doing that? Well, basically, they were basing their rectangular hoop, it's those ones that are teal or like a bluey green aqua teal, they put the bumps on there that coincide with either the large hoop, the midi hoop, or the maxi hoop. So what that means is when your machine, even with or without the update, this new firmware update that lets us see the BERNINA magnet hoops, that means that when you actually have your dime hoop on the machine, it's reading that hoop as whatever is the equivalent of it that Dime has based it on. So, for instance, you have a maxi hoop and a 770 plus, but you have the generic dime hoop. You updated your machine. Hey, it's free, so there's no skin off your nose there, right? You updated your machine, you see those really cool magnetic BERNINA hoops, and you pick the one that coincides to the dime hoop, and it doesn't read it. Don't put the right hoop on, it's not working. And that's because it simply thinks that you have the maxi hoop on. If you have the large magnetic dime hoop, it thinks that you have the maxi hoop on if you have the dime version for BERNINA. So this is why you are going to need to purchase the actual BERNINA hoops, because the magnet BERNINA hoop bumps are different. So when your machine is reading these bumps, it knows that it's the BERNINA magnet hoop, and you get the full rectangular field of embroidery. You're not losing the corners like you see here. So how do the BERNINA hoops work? Well, it's kind of like the BERNINA embroidery module is a phrenologist. A phrenologist is somebody who studies and reads the bumps on people's heads. Well, your embroidery module on your BERNINA is studying and reading these bumps, right? And each bump on each hoop is unique, unless you have dime hoops, and then they are, once again, coinciding to the closest equivalent in those BERNINA oval-shaped hoops. I hope this clears things up. Don't be mad at me. Don't come after me. I don't work for BERNINA. I don't work for Dime, and I don't work for OESD. So I can imagine in the future, maybe there will be some adjustments in the way they design their hoops. I don't know. Maybe there could be some kind of firmware updates. Those engineers over in Switzerland, they're very smart. But as it stands right now, with the current firmware updates that we have, the only magnetic hoops that will work on your machine with the full rectangular area are the BERNINA large, medium clamp magnetic hoop, and the medium magnetic hoop. Thanks for listening. And Don't forget to check out some of our other YouTube videos. I always try to lay it straight out here for you guys and tell you the right information as much as possible, right? So that's why I would really like you to head on over to youtube.com/Bernina of Naperville, where you can like, comment, and subscribe. And tell a friend if you thought that this information was helpful. Cheers.